Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another Devblog review of what is perhaps the most significant Devblog that has ever been reviewed on this channel. And you will see why. Well, you probably already know why because of the title and thumbnail. But if that wasn't obvious enough, you'll see why. So, Devblog 22 is here, and this is largely focusing on the new underground drilling area of Scrap Mechanic that they will be introducing in Chapter 2. So let's get into it. Hi mechanics, it is that special time again, and we open up to show off some of the content we've been working on at the Scrap Mechanic HQ. This is probably one of the most exciting dev blogs we've done in a while, as we will be showing off our new digging system. We're sorry for the long wait, but the features in this dev blog have been in the making for a while. We've also been working on a lot of story-related things that we don't want to spoil for you, so we won't reveal everything just yet. So let's crack open a sunshake and dig in. So they start us right off with some amazing gifts that that's right, I said gifts, not GIFs, okay? But some amazing gifts that show off the new plasma drills and also how they function with digging underground. So this looks really, really satisfying. You also notice that those sticky wheels seem to be highly recommended for drilling underground, which makes sense. So this is a really interesting drill system that they have here. This is not a very simple system. You can see up here that the drills have the ability to extend forward and backwards. And then here you see they also have the ability to widen and contract. And they also have the ability to spin around a center point. So like, is all of that really necessary? So then as we get further down, this one's kind of cool because he's like driving sideways on the walls. I really hope that at some point they fix the first person camera so that the first person camera will rotate with your character sideways and upside down, because that'll make things like flying around and maybe being in first person while you're driving upside down in these caves might be a little bit more appealing. So this is another strange part about this mechanism they built. It is asymmetrically attached to the left side over here, and it looks like it can rotate to go up higher above the character as opposed to here where it's kind of centered in the vehicle. I don't understand the reasoning behind doing all of that, but I guess eventually we'll find out how necessary all these moving parts really are, but that is a pretty complex mechanism just for 2 drills. So here we got a sample of a mechanic walking through part of the underwater cave system. I don't know if this is something that has been drilled open or if this was like a cavern that has been accessed by drilling. It would also be interesting to know whether or not we can add terrain back. Because how cool would it be to shape an underground base? But then if you accidentally drill too far somewhere, then you kind of ruin the whole aesthetic of it. So I wonder if they'll give us the ability to be able to put ground somewhere. All right, we got a couple of images of the underground area, all the various contours and caves. And then we got this. This seems like a significant, probably the destination, the whole reason we're going underground is probably to reach this area. So we got some pictures, and this is interesting. I'm really curious what this is. It almost immediately I thought it was a zip line or something. Maybe it's like a horizontal elevator, like these platforms move between this point and that point. But it definitely draws my attention as a significant thing in this base. So then we got some concept art for this. So it looks like there's some type of dispenser here. Oh, here's some horizontal movers. But it looks like this dispenser will dispense something onto these movers, which will take it somewhere. I don't know. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So it looks like somewhere in this area, there's going to be a dispenser that dispenses something called a freight battery. And this freight battery can be charged on some pads. And it looks like there will also be some explosive tote bots to fend off while we try to extract a freight battery from the underground. Oh yeah, look at this. I think this kind of confirms what I was thinking. So you see these 2 platforms right here? These 2 platforms seem to be these 2 platforms. And it seems like they are connected to this station, which has these, these 3 blue bands on top. And those seem to match up with this station, which has these 3 blue bands on top. So there is probably those platforms moving between these 2 sections. Okay, could be wrong, but based on the images, that's the conclusion I'm drawn to. Okay, finally some explanation of what we just looked at. Underground digging and exploration. The new chapter will come with a brand new island housing a huge collapsed mine and a massive mystery. The new location that you will get to explore will contain a lot of new content and underground biomes. Plural underground biomes. Is there more than one underground biome? Or maybe there's multiple biomes that are of the underground nature, not multiple biomes underground. All right, continuing on. Once in it, you will have to create a mining vehicle and start digging for resources while uncovering small and large cave systems. Some parts of the mines will require special types of drills to get past, as we saw before, the plasma drills. In some cases, explosives will be needed. That's interesting. We put a lot of work into making vehicle digging into a fun and creative experience. Here are a few shots showing underground digging and exploration. You can also get a first glimpse of a very dangerous place, the underground station. Keep in mind that these shots don't have the correct lighting and particles yet. Everything will look better in the final version. So this is called the underground station, where we're going to get our freight battery and maybe have some horizontal elevators. Okay, now we get a little bit more detail about the sticky wheels and something that I had suspected seems to be true. It looks like the sticky wheels are actually activated and they need chemicals to function. So this is really cool. It looks like we can turn the sticky wheels on and off. They have these little nozzles covering the wheels, and the sticky goo gets expelled through these nozzles when activated. So this is the GIF that they actually shared on their Twitter as a teaser a little while ago. And wow, look at this. These things are actually really effective. This makes me curious because this one, it seems like somehow the vehicle gets unstuck and falls off this rock. But on this one, it seems to just be completely glued to this, like with no issues whatsoever, just running up the wall. So I don't know how easy or hard it's going to be to fall off something that we're sticking to. So we can see one of the wheels gets pulled off, but the other ones are still keeping it on there. Man, the animation of this sticky goo it's really well done. I like this a lot. And here, wow, this thing is zooming around. Look at that speed. All right, sticky wheels update. Here's a little update on the sticky wheels we've shown previously. We really love how they turned out. They work really, really well and have a nice gooey look when you drive. You will definitely need these when digging in the mine. They will most likely have a pink-purple colored goo, just like the chemicals, by default instead of the yellow-green shown in the GIFs. We are also looking into letting you paint them in other colors. Ooh, that would be cool. Currently, the sticky wheels are using chemicals as a resource, but we're still testing them out so we can get the perfect balance between consumption and use time. All right, so up next is something mildly terrifying. These are the cable bots that were teased quite a while ago, and boy, do they seem to come in swarms. And that, this is where the Spud Shotgun is probably going to really, really shine. Because if each one of these, even if they only take one hit to kill one, that's like 30 Spuds right there that you have to use just to eliminate these guys, assuming you hit all your shots. A Spud Shotgun probably will be able to eliminate more of them quicker, but these things seem like they are going to be a big ammo consumer to get rid of, unless you have some type of weapon on your vehicle. But even so, this seems risky. Look how they're just swarming the vehicle. Imagine loosening your sticky tires in the middle of a cave system and being stuck down there. You could actually probably legitimately, if you don't bring a toilet, or a couple of toilets, you might legitimately get stuck down there. If they eat your sticky wheels and you've dug down into a way that you can't walk back out, what happens? I guess you have to just run out of hunger and die, or let the cable bots kill you so you can respawn out of bed. But then if you have your bed on you, oh boy, I'm just imagining all these nightmare scenarios now. Caves are gonna be scary. All right, got some more images. Yeah, here they are on the vehicle, just chewing away at it. Cable bot update. The cable bots are really starting to shape up. Buried deep underground in the collapsed mine, these clankers come in great numbers, attacking both you and your creations on sight. Sometimes they might latch onto your creation and gradually eat away at it. Other times they might simply leech off of your battery or fuel resources. You better slap them off your creations before they start piling up. That's when they're going to do some real damage. This also makes me curious about where these things come from. Are they going to dig out from under the ground around you in random waves? Are they going to be in certain areas, and once you expose that area, they come after you? I'm just really curious about what the experience is going to be like when you come across these guys, and is it possible to avoid coming across them? All right, and up next we have this thing. Oh, this is interesting. So the freight battery takes a battery. So this is a battery container inside the freight battery. So you can see here is the full freight battery, and here is the empty freight battery without the battery container inserted into it. And then we have this picture, which is explained down here. Battery generator. Electric engines and other things requiring batteries will be very useful during your time underground. And when you're in need of batteries, there's nothing more useful than a battery generator. Simply place a battery container inside it, spin the red valve, and the battery charger will generate new batteries. You can spin manually by hitting the valve with the hammer, but if you'd rather save time, you can also create a gas engine powered arm that will spin the valve for you. We plan to introduce more interactive parts in the future with new creative ways to interact with, like this one. We can't wait to see how these types of parts will spark your creativity. So you can see we have an engine attached to a bearing attached to this pipe, which is attached to somewhat of like a claw like this. So that claw just spins around, which spins this red handle, which then charges up the battery container and fills it up with batteries. Now, I did see them respond to somebody on Twitter who asked if you could just attach a controller to this bearing and have unlimited battery generation, because controllers don't need gas and they don't need batteries to be powered. And the devs did respond to that, saying they're probably going to make it so that this has to spin faster than the max speed of a controller in order to generate batteries. Okay, this is amazing. I love this right here. Digital signs. We finally got around to adding digital signs. In late game survival, you often end up with a lot of chests. These signs will let you label things so they are easier to find. Not just that, but they can also be used to leave messages and help decorate your creations. They come in 3 sizes with a selection of customizable screen and text colors. So here are the 3 different sizes. You get your large one, you get your small one, and you got your medium one. And it looks like it's going to support all kinds of different keyboard and text layouts. And now, the most important and significant thing in this entire devblog, the Wedge update. And not only do we get a Wedge update, but we get a direct shout out to Wedge Gang. We've made it, Wedge Gang. We've made it. We've made it into a devblog. Our impact will never be forgotten. You know, at this point, Wedge Gang merch has to come. If you got any ideas for Wedge Gang merch, let me know down in the comments below, because I'm going to start thinking about it now. So, Wedge update. Shout out to the Wedge Gang. We've got a lot of requests about adding wedges, and we are trying to find a good way of implementing them. So here's a little update on what we have so far. The problem has been the wedge scaling and removal in survival. It's a different system from the simple block scaling, but we keep testing things out, and hopefully we'll find a good way that works in survival. The wedges will be included in the next chapter. So this looks amazing right here. This is going to completely change the wedge game for Wedge Gang in survival and in creative mode. More importantly, in creative mode, because this not only gives us draggable wedges, but the way that they are showing it here, we have any wedge dimension as well, because right now the wedges are just those defined blocks, like the 1x1 wedge, which is by default a 45-degree angle, and then you have the 2x1 wedge, which is a less than 45-degree angle. But with these draggable wedges, you can just make a wedge connection between any 2 points at any angle, pretty much, within whatever the scalable distance is. So this wedge on the left here is a much shallower slope than this wedge, which is a steeper slope than this wedge, and so on. We're going to be able to make nice curves by having different wedge types, and it's just going to be Wedge Gang is going to prevail. The wedges will take over. All right, and up next, it looks like in addition to the plasma drill, we are also getting a plasma saw, which this concept art looks amazing. So, plasma saw. Introducing the plasma saw. The saw that is sharp enough to go through trees like butter and even cut through crystal rocks. So, have we seen crystal rocks before? I don't remember crystal rocks being mentioned before this right here. But why stop there? The plasma saw can also be used to boost your creation's defenses against those pesky bots. So it does look like the plasma saw will be able to do the function of the regular saw, as well as more functions. So backwards compatibility is a thing. You don't need to use regular saws for trees after getting a plasma saw. So this is some cool concept art. I wonder, are these different ideas for the saws? Or perhaps do we have different options for how we want the saw to look? This actually would be really cool if they had different skins for certain items. So like you can see we got like 5 different shapes of the saw blade here, and it'd be cool if you could just choose what shape you like best, so you have that level of personalization to your creation. All right, and going down, oh no, what happened to you? This guy is not having. This is his mustache. What happened to your mustache? You lost half your mustache. You lost half your hat. Who did this to you? All right, so we got this guy. He's got a whistle, he's got a radio, and he's got some binoculars. This clearly is a farmer having a very bad day. Probably lost. He's probably been calling for help with his whistle and his radio, looking for help with his binoculars. His mustache is still with him. I don't know how he lost it, but however he lost it, he's kept it with him the whole time. So we get this guy, and then we got this thing. This is adorable. It's a baby walk. So apparently these are NPCs. The next chapter will feature new NPCs that you will get to interact with. Here's a first look at 2 of them. So this is interesting because the walks right now, there's no real interaction other than giving it some corn and it poops out some milk. You know what I just realized? They do poop out milk, but yet their udders are on their heads. Why does the milk come out of the back if the udders are up in the front? The milk should come out of the front, forwards. Sounds like some type of cowspiracy going on here. All right, well, anyway, apparently this little guy is an NPC, or girl, probably. But supposedly we're able to interact with this thing in a way, maybe get some quests. I would think that if I had to guess what kind of NPC this would be, it would give you a quest where you have to escort this thing back to its parents or something. Or back to a farmer. Maybe the farmer guy, maybe this is what happened. Maybe this farmer guy had a farm, it got attacked by bots, he got roughed up a little bit, and he lost his cows, and you gotta go herd his cows and bring them back to him, and maybe find the rest of his mustache for him in his hat. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Just hypothesizing, complete guess, probably wrong, but we'll find out next year probably. All right, and then last up, fancy tuxedo, the new outfit time. This time we are taking a break from all the workwear and decided to make a stylish tuxedo instead. Just the thing for mechanics who want to adventure in style. As usual, all parts of the tuxedo can be mixed and matched with the other outfits for even more awesome outfit variations. Are there other types of outfits you'd like to see more of in Scrap Mechanic? Let us know in the comments. I mean, clearly, we need a Wedge Gang shirt. I mean, you have shirts for all of the different produce items, and we need it so much that I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm gonna make a real-life Wedge Gang shirt. All right, that is all for now, mechanics. We hope you have enjoyed looking at all the things we've been working on. We would also like to add that we are still looking into ways we can improving the physics and decrease lag more. See you in the next devblog. So normally I ask what your favorite part of the devblog was, because there's usually all these awesome things in the devblog, but there's only one real correct answer this time, and that is clearly draggable wedges. This is obviously the best part, so I'm not even gonna ask because we all know the answer. But in all seriousness, this actually made me really, really happy when I saw the Wedge Gang shout out. I felt really, really good seeing that. So thanks, Scrap Mechanic developers, for the acknowledgement. So yeah, hopefully sometime in the near future, there will be some new merch featuring Wedge Gang. And I am in the works with some changes when it comes to merch anyway. And I think a new merch drop would coincide perfectly with these changes. So I am curious, when you guys think of Wedge Gang merch, what are you envisioning? Describe it to me. I already have a handful of different directions that it could go in my head, but it's for you guys. So I want you guys to have some feedback and some input on it. So I will be looking in the comments for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this devblog. I definitely did. This is my favorite devblog of all time. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out previous devblog reviews if you guys haven't been following the devblog reviews, because there's all kinds of awesome information that is completely different from these devblogs as well. That'll probably show you some more stuff that is really fun to expect in the future of Scrap Mechanic. So you can check out that playlist on the end screen right here. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.